All right, Maddie, so today we are going to be throwing the new Ethos. Can you tell us a little bit about the layout and why you went with it?
So we went with a pin down, about 5-inch pin down, CG slightly kicked out. We went with this, so it would be a little more continuous. If I go pin up with it, it's going to see it a little harder off the dry. If I go pin down with it, it's going to see the dry a little slower, but it's going to be more continuous down lane, and it's not going to want to shut down. So when the lanes get pretty fried up, fronts get pretty fried up, I can go to this, get left, and open up the lane quite a bit.
Got it. So it sounds like you don't necessarily use pin down for more hook. Sometimes people think pin down will hook earlier and pin up will go longer. Is that typically how you view it, or do you view it differently?
Now that I've learned equipment a little more, layouts a little bit more, pin up, even though it may indicate longer, but it does mean the ball is going to come off the spot a lot harder and use its energy a lot quicker. If you go to pin down, people think it's smoother, but if you go on a pro and go pin down, it just means the ball sees the friction slower, but that also means it's not going to stop down lane because it has all that retention off the pattern, and it's not, the core's not overusing itself.
Okay, great. Let's see the Ethos go down the lane.
That's another good one. Oh, baby. Ooh, that was money. Dude, that was good. But you see what I mean? It's not getting down the lane because the cover's allowing it to get down the lane. But if you see it, it's not really trying hard to pop off the spot, and you see it comes off of it a little slower, but it's got a lot of continuation. Everyone always thinks pin up, longer, stronger. True, it is longer and stronger, but the stronger it is off the spot, the more it wears out. Where pin down retains that energy and keeps it moving, like going through the pins left, but it's not going through the pins hard, like, or not hard, but whippy. It's going through it continuously with like a nice strong arc.
Yeah, hold on.
All right, try it again, same spot. Try to execute another good shot. Baby, that one's really good. So that one, again, threw it really good, same spot, and you see the ball coming off of it hard, going through the pins really well, continuing. It's not wanting to stop where people generally think pin down, ball's gonna roll, stop. There was no stoppage on that. Ball got through the pins pretty sure, almost hit the 7-pin on that one, so pretty good.
Now, where are you standing? You threw the perfect mindset on the same lane. Where are you, about close to the same? What are you seeing difference between those two?
Pretty close to the same. I'm about one board right, but I'm also noticing that it's floating through the front part of the lane a lot easier, so I'm not having to like manipulate my hand a little bit to get it through the fronts quicker. So almost the same part of the lane, but I'm able to get this one to the right, and it gets down the lane a little longer, and it's coming off of it a little slower, but still getting through the pins, where the mindset comes off of it a lot quicker. So I could either flat 10, 4-pin, or high flush. I got 3 options there depending on where I get it. But with this one, I know I can get it to that friction spot, and it's going to come off of it nice and soft and slow, but still have that strong arc continuation to it.
Got it. Maybe,
and then a ball return.
Oh, nice.
Sorry with all the M&Ms in my mouth, but I'm a diabetic, so I need my sugar every once in a while. But we're going to try to move a couple left, and I'm going to get softer with the speed to see if it recovers. Probably should have made a 4-2 move. You see how much that's still hooked in softer speed. So the good thing is, you know that thing's going to recover from everywhere. Just got to be careful not to get it in that big old puddle, because I'm pretty sure it's never going to read. It needs friction. It needs a lot of friction in that front part of the lane. I normally do that with most of my pearls or anything that comes factory polished. I try to knock off the cover because it just makes it get way too far down lane. You can't really get a true read of what the ball could actually do. So we're going to go another 3 left, same ball speed with the softness, and see if we can get this thing to get to the pocket and not over jump. Damn. So it was supposed to be a 4-2 move left, but yeah, as you can see there, I moved another 3 left from that last one that went through the face, 3-9. Move left, 3 more, 2 with my eyes, and you see the ball still recovers. So if you can adjust ball speeds, especially if you're a bigger rev rate guy, you can adjust ball speeds. Dude, this ball has unlimited room to the right. As long as you can adjust your speed, and you can keep moving left with this ball, and as you can see, it still comes back. So
what do we want to compare it to today?
let's try it with the 3D attack.
Okay.
The numbers are similar as far as the RG is 248, I believe, and the diff is 053.
Okay.
But the difference is symmetric, asymmetric.
Right.
So you'll get an idea with the numbers being the same, but this is asymmetric, so it's probably going to want to try to come off the spot a little harder, not be as continuous, but also be well aware this has a little bit of polish on it and it has some games on it. So I'm going to be a little farther right with it.
Okay.
So as I was over there, I was standing 34 with the softer speed, so we'll go 29, and I'll stay with the softer speed. As you see with the polish, got a little farther down the lane, and you try to see it came off the spot a little harder, but then it stood up a lot quicker too. Where the Ethos, I throw it in that same spot, it still has that continuation. You can see the difference. Light scatter over here, high flush with that ball. So we'll try another one there. I'll see if I can get even a little bit softer with the speed. I'll move 2 more left and try to go even softer with the speed. As you can see, I even softened up the speed even more, got the 31, and I'm still 3 right of where I throw that Ethos. And the Ethos, I'm throwing it a hint harder, and I'm 3 farther left with it. So as you can see, the Ethos definitely stores its energy, definitely a little slower off the spot, but more continuation, which I know a lot of bowlers look for. I believe the lower rev rate guys, this definitely ain't the ball for you. I think it's going to be too long, probably not hard enough off the spot for you. I think the higher rev guys are going to like it quite a bit. I think the guys with with some higher speeds that can play a little farther right will like it as well.
Okay. Going 3D attack one more time?
Yep. And I'll go my normal speed on this one, and I'll stand 27. So that's going to be might have made too much to the right, but that's still pretty close. Only a 4-pin, so that was standing 27. So if I move to 28, keep that ball speed up, pretty sure it's high flush.
Okay. And what's the next ball?
So we're going to go with the hybrid, the Black Widow 2.0 hybrid. In comparison, this is going to be stronger than the 3D attack. Probably won't be as continuous as the Ethos. But I'm probably going to be able to stand in the same spot. You're just going to see a little bit of different motion, a little longer down lane with the Black Widow 2.0, but I think it's going to come off the spot significantly harder. So I'm going to stand in the same spot as I started with the Ethos, so 31, and then we're just going to travel to the left to see what it does. You can see it right there. When it's seen that friction, it just went left immediately. Where with the Ethos, when it's seen the friction, a little bit softer off the spot, but it's like I said, a lot of continuation. That Black Widow, you've seen it. When it's seen the friction, it just went. So stood in the same spot. Like I said, you could probably play in the same spot with this. It's just a matter of, do you want your ball to read harder off the spot, or do you want it to read softer off the spot? I got it around that one a little bit to try to get it to come off of it a little harder, and you see 4-pin. Same thing with the Ethos. You've seen when I draw softer, they got around it more, it just grabbed immediately. So pretty complimentary. I think you don't need both the balls in your bag. You don't need a Widow 2.0 and an Ethos in your bag. I think if you just pick one or the other, you'll be pretty happy with it. Black Widow obviously speaks for itself. The name's really good. Balls perform pretty well. But if you're looking for something a little bit slower off the spot, not as hard as a Black Widow, I would definitely get a Ethos for sure.
Okay. So what's your final ranking? So Matt, what's your final
I really
ranking?
like this Ethos. It's a really usable ball, especially on house patterns when they break down. I'd definitely say it's the nuts for sure.
Okay. So you actually like this a little bit more
than the perfect mindset, just because of my game. I like to play farther left, especially on house. I'm going to be able to open up the lane more. But as far as usable, I think high rev guys like me love it. Obviously, you can see I can just stand left, get it right, comes back. I think if you're higher speed, it's not going to be as usable. I can see a lot of 2.810s, unless you're one of those high speed guys who like to play farther right, then you're okay. But if you're a higher speed guy, higher rev guy that like to play left, this ball might have some problems. May be useful in the later parts of the game, but I think there's also other selections within the Brunswick brand that would be more useful. But I think higher rev guys, slower speeds, again, would be really good. Lower rev guys, higher speeds, I like to play right, really good as well.
Okay, great. All right, Fitz, up next is the Ethos. Tell us about the layout and what you were thinking and why you went with it.
So it's a symmetric core, so I still want to pin up, try to take advantage of the relatively high differential the ball has, and allow it to get down lane with that cover stock and really take advantage of how quickly it should be able to come off the spot down lane with the HK22 cover stock in there.
Okay, cool. So let's get lined up for the Ethos.
All right.
We're in a different lane than the Perfect Mindset video. If you guys want to check that out, we were shooting that on 9. That lane got pretty torched, so now we're over on 10.
You can see that ball definitely got down lane and then made a pretty drastic change in direction once it got to the end of the pattern. I know here in this characteristic on this lane when I was practicing a minute ago, the far outside edge is kind of OB, so I don't want to get out there. The ball will just end up hanging, but I don't want to be inside because it's just going to take off too quickly through the back end. So given the characteristics of this lane and that ball, I feel like that was a pretty good spot right there.
Okay.
Look at that beauty. Straight through the back, split the 8-9, send 10 pins back, not leaving any on the deck. That's what you want.
What are you going to be comparing this to today?
I'm actually going to compare it to another symmetric pearl ball with a relatively big differential in it, and that is the Night Road by Storm.
Okay, let's see.
Little older ball, has been around for a little bit, so people should be relatively familiar with it.
Okay.
So, would you like me to throw that now?
You can throw one more with the Ethos, and then we'll take a look at the Night Road.
Sure thing. Let's give this beauty another shot.
So do you tend to find that you like symmetricals more often than not more than ASIMs? Like,
yeah,
they're a little easier for them to match up for you?
Yeah, usually symmetrics and or lower differentials match up a lot better for me than the big ASIM balls do.
Okay.
And I like to have a variety of the symmetric cores and cover stocks so that when I go bowl tournaments, I'm bowling like 8-10 games in the blocks. You're switching to symmetric at some point. Moving inside, you need the smaller cores to continue through the back end. Otherwise, your ball just burns up and lays flat all day.
Got it.
And only a 4-pin. That's a pretty good sign right there. So, but like I said, it's clean through the fronts, which given the cover stock, the pearl aspect of it, it's expected. So as you can see, it's actually very similar line to one another. So if you like the Night Road and that shape that you get, the Ethos is going to be very comparable to it. So it's a good replacement ball if you're looking for a replacement, or just something that has a slight different characteristic as it goes through the pins. There's not a whole lot of difference between the two, so it's a really good comparison. The actual difference I see between the two is it looks like the Night Road picks up a little bit later down lane. And it looked like it slightly deflected on that shot. I hadn't seen deflection with this one at all yet once it hit the pins and going through.
Okay.
So
maybe one more with the Ethos?
One more with the Ethos to be able to let you guys can really see that.
Yeah.
Basically what's going to happen is, like I said, the difference between the two is the Ethos picks up a little bit faster and therefore it gets through its hook phase a little bit quicker. Drives through the pins, in my opinion, a lot better. With the 8-9, just like I said, a little bit better continuation through the pin deck. So that's what matters.
What would you rank the Ethos, and who do you think it's good for, and who do you think it's not good for?
So far what I'm throwing it right now, it's looking really, really nice on a house shot type condition. It's going to be good for a wide variety because of the symmetric. It's versatile. So like I said, house shot's really good so far. I guarantee you sometime trying out in different patterns and different later parts in the blocks. Could probably look pretty good. Right now it's got to be in the fire category at least. So, and it's probably borderline to get to that nut category for me.
Got it. So you're liking it.
I'm liking it so far.
Any scenarios or styles that you think that should avoid it, or it might not work well for?
Probably your real low rev guys. It's just I don't think it's going to really pick up quick enough off the spot for someone that doesn't get onto the ball just at least a little bit. So if you're low rev, it's probably not the greatest, but you can probably still get it to work as long as you keep the ball speed down.
Got it.
Hello,
Brunswick
YouTube
Ethos
world.
today.
New Brunswick Ethos.
Yep.
Chose a layout of 80 by 5 by 60. Looking for something like really smooth, predictable, house shot type reaction. Today we'll compare that to an Ebonite GB4 hybrid.
Okay. Let's get lined up with the Ethos.
We will get lined up with the Ethos. I think we'll just start kind of where everybody starts for league, right? That was a little bit earlier than we anticipated. Smooth, predictable. I like it. So far I've got 3, maybe 4 full games on the ball. I haven't touched the surface out of box yet. I'm definitely contemplating on knocking the shine off it just to get it to pick up a little sooner, as it's super clean. And I think that the layout has definitely helped the ball get into a roll and be a little bit softer off the spot compared to a couple of the other ones out there. Oh. I didn't think it was that bad.
So you feeling is the ball quite a bit speed sensitive for you, or you think it's just the out of box finish?
I think it's just the out of box finish. It really just sparks off of the dry. As soon as it sees any kind of friction, it just wants to pick up and go. It doesn't seem to bleed energy just quite the way I like them to. I kind of hope to get that with the layout, but it's just not happening, I see. That's not good.
All right, Rich. So what's your final ranking of the Ethos? Who's it for and who's it not for?
Final ranking on the Ethos, it's going to have to be to be determined.
Got it.
I want to play with the surface a little bit, see where it fits in the bag. I will say that it is pretty close to like a melee jab carbon. It's just a little bit quicker off the spot, I think. So we'll touch on that at another time, hopefully. Don't sleep on it. I'm not saying that it's not worth having as a replacement ball for a melee or a symmetrical pearl. It's just something I'm going to have to work with a little bit just to kind of see what's out, how it rolls with change of surface.
Sure. Who do you think it is probably for, and who do you think it's not for?
I think that this ball, as of right now, out of box, this will be a great house shot ball. It's going to blend the patterns pretty well, as it's going to get through the front part of the lane really, really easily, and it's just not going to dive left off of the friction. So far, it's been showing me that it is pretty like a really good blend benchmark style ball. So if you're in the market for a symmetrical pearl, that would be a great option for you.
Okay, that's great. Thanks.